Alright, so today I wanted to go over pretty much my entire build setup, so that way if anybody wanted to grab anything they could. So under here, these are the Govee neon rope lights. We have the Govee TV light bars, an actual Govee TV light setup. I'll be posting links to everything on the YouTube channel. This is the Razer Blackwidow V4 Pro white with ACO translucent keycaps. These are honestly no longer available, so maybe if we can get enough views and get enough maybe buyers to their company and stuff, and I'll put in emails to them and stuff, maybe they'll start making them again. This is the Razer Firefly, I want to say it's V2, Razer V3 Balistik Pro wireless, the Razer charging pad, wireless charging pad for the mouse. So I mean, it's magnetic, so it goes to. We have a Corsair 5000T. Inside of it, we have Corsair Lx120s and RX120s on the Titan 360 AIO CPU cooler. We have an Ezdiyfab GPU cooler and brace in one. It's got 3 fans that blow upwards into the GPU, so that way it helps cool it. 64 gigabytes of DDR5 Corsair RAM, a VRM Corsair capswap fan. Those right there are easy Ezdiyfab 90 degree 24 pin plugs. And they literally are just 290 degrees, so that way, you know, you're not really seeing the cord that much. This, I want to say it's easy DIY AIO cooler tubes. We have an Ezdiyfab on that right there, an Ezdiyfab motherboard backlight. And then for my actual gaming setup, I have the Astro A50 Gen 5s. I don't do mouse and keyboard. I like to kind of try to make it an even fight, because I've noticed with mouse and keyboard, I mean, especially if you're playing Fortnite, with mouse and keyboard, it is not an even fight for somebody who is on mouse and keyboard. It's just, if they're on mouse and keyboard and you're playing any type of console, you're going to get beat. So I use an Astro C40. They have high tension sticks from golly, I can't even remember the name of it. Beaver something. I'll have to look at it, but they're high tension sticks, so it takes a little bit more force to push them side to side and press it down. Makes it better for if you're trying to turn your sensitivity up to keep up with people who are playing mouse and keyboard. I have a dual monitor setup, and this Corsair mat right here, which I do plan on getting the Razer Strider Chroma. It's a lot brighter. And I really don't want this right here. I would prefer it to be on one of the sides, which on the Razer Strider Chroma it is. But pretty much that's all I have for the setup over here. It's not a bad setup. I enjoy it. Actually I love it. I mean, you really can't, in my opinion, it feels like I can't get better than this. I've got a bunch of spare clips like these that help organize all the cords and stuff like that. As you can see there, I mean, they're all organized because of that, thank goodness. So I mean, it's not a bad setup. I love it. I definitely love the case. probably will be the only case that I build in from now on. I mean, when I go to start upgrading my internals, I'll probably keep the same case and just upgrade everything on the inside. Probably eventually swap out these fans and those fans for LX120Rs, so they're just reversed. The actual inside of the fan like this is flipped, so instead of that pulling air like this, it pulls air backwards, so that way you can see the nice lights. And it really depends, because I'm really not that hurting for it, because they do their job. So I mean, it's really not bothering me, and I don't have to worry about something pressing on the back, like on the fan, and messing with the fan when it's like that close to the GPU cooler and GPU brace. I don't have to, like, it'll hit the back of the fan. It won't actually hit the fan, so it'll kind of save the fan. I also forgot to mention I do have a Corsair 1000 watt PSU, which I think is definitely plenty, with having an AMD Ryzen 7 9800 X3D and a Sapphire Nitro Plus 9070 XT, and then all the other stuff with it too on top of that. That's supposed to be lighting up. I'm gonna have to look at it later. I don't know why it's not, but it's a Ezdiyfab SSD cooler and heatsink on top of that. So I mean, that'll drop that SSD like 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit, which is quite a bit, because that's running my operating software. It's a 1 terabyte Gen 5 SSD, and then under the GPU I've got another 2 terabyte Gen 4 SSD, and then down here, if you can see it right there, yeah, that's a 4 terabyte Gen 4 SSD, and I plan on buying another Gen 4 terabyte SSD, so that way I know for sure I'll have plenty of space on the PC itself, which I've got a pretty good amount right now. I mean, but you never know when you'll need the extra space, so it's better to have it and not need it than to not have it and need it. So I mean, that's why I'm gonna just go ahead and get it. But this is going to be the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoy it. So I wanted to record a little bit more with the mic and like different settings to show you how good the mic was. It's like a continuing on the first video, but on the second video instead. But so like right now I'm in the car, I'm doing about 65, it's raining, and we've got the heat and air on. So I wanted to mainly just show y'all what it sounds like in those conditions, you know, so that way if you did want to end up buying it, you know, hopefully you're still watching the videos, and then it'll like intrigue you more to want to buy a mic, because I thought about just using my phone mic, but I know with like wind and certain stuff, it doesn't do a great job. Now, I will say with AI and stuff, you can kind of filter out that, but it can only do so much. Like, there's only so much it can do before it, I mean, it can't, I mean, then it's going to take everything out of your video and just leave your voice. You're not going to be able to hear anything else if it does too much, which I mean isn't a bad thing, but I guess you would still want to hear like your surroundings somewhat, so that way you can kind of get, you know, a picture of maybe where they're at, what they're doing, you know, and stuff like that. But this is just a video of that, and then I'll talk a little bit more about like you know, my gaming setup and the main reason why I built it, why I built the PC, and like what I got going on today as of, you know, right now. But so like as of right now, we're headed up to I'm headed up to school. Gonna take a quiz, and Jesus Christ, this dude's retarded. support that all the way. That dude just got cut off because he wanted to pull out in front of us while we're doing 65 in the rain. And he pulled out in front of us like 200 feet away at 65 miles per hour in the rain. Ridiculous. Ridiculous, I say.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're going up to school right now to take like a quiz type exam type thing. And then, I'm gonna head back. Well, probably stop and grab some food somewhere and then head back. I haven't really driven my car much in the rain. It's seen rain a couple times, but haven't driven it much in the rain. But front wheel drive cars usually do pretty good in the rain, so not really too worried about that. But after that, probably gonna end up just going home, hopping on Fortnite or Helldivers 2, playing a little bit of one of those. Maybe study for my math exam a little bit too. Then after that, you know, off to bed and on to the next day. But onto my PC. So I used to be real big into laptops because of the portability, but like finding a good reliable laptop that's going to be reliable for as long as an actual PC is, in my opinion, it's not going to happen. I mean, there might be some laptops out there, but the money you got to pay compared to building a PC, when a PC can outperform it for less, is just, it baffles my mind. I'm not really a person who likes spending a lot of money on something that's not going to last and be the best, you know, in its category. And it is still a computer. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, at that point, I might as well just build a very nice PC, you know, up to my standards for less and have more power and be more capable of doing more things on it. Like, a CPU on a PC compared to a laptop, completely different. I mean, your CPU on an actual PC is, like, depending on the CPU, is going to outperform like anything a laptop has. I guess depending on the laptop, but it's going to definitely outperform probably 90% of laptops until you start spending a lot of money. Then you're going to outperform all of the laptops. There's not going to be a single laptop that can compete. But it just didn't make sense to me on why I would spend that much money and not just build a PC. So I ended up building a PC. Plus, I was going to need it for school. When I get a little bit further in my program, like in my actual degree, I'll have to use certain apps that are very demanding. And it'll definitely bully a laptop, like a cheap laptop. Like, there's no way you're going to run AutoCAD on a super, super cheap laptop. It's just not going to happen. I tried it, and it did not go well. And so I unfortunately got to retake that class because of that. It made literally not having a laptop or a PC at home where I could just pull up my work, finish my work and then turn it in. It would have been nice having that, but not having it really made doing homework hard. So didn't really get to do homework because my laptop wasn't capable, of course. So I ended up building a PC for like gaming and then doing schoolwork and stuff. So that's why I bought an X3D for being able to do like editing or like, AutoCAD or stuff like that. And then on top of that, being able to do, heavy gaming, because I love gaming and like streaming and doing vlogs and stuff like that, making clips and whatnot. I love doing stuff like that. But so that's why I went with an AMD on an X3D, mainly also because AMD's cheaper too. Like their bang for their buck is really hard to beat. So I went with an AMD CPU, and then on my GPU, really what got me into Sapphire's GPUs is like the aesthetics. Like they look amazing, and they are one of the more powerful AMD graphics cards you can get, like the brand. And so like it's kind of hard to pass up. So I was having problems choosing between a 7900 XTX or a 9070 XT, like an XT. The reason why I was gonna get the 7900 XTX was because of the, I want to say it's like 24 gigabytes of VRAM, and I want to say mine's got like 16, my 9070. But I guess what the deal breaker was is the price. The 9070 is like $300 to $400 cheaper and performs better on some games and just a hair behind on others. Like it wasn't enough to justify the difference of like the difference in dollars. And so I was just like, well, I guess I'll just get the 9070. Plus I really wanted to have like more an aesthetic PC build. I didn't really want to see wires unless, you know, you absolutely had to. Like I've been looking at reverse connector motherboards, but ain't had really good luck in finding the one I want, because I want 4 M.2 slots, so we're gonna have 4 storage slots instead of 3 because of storage. You know, you'll definitely run out of it quick if you don't. I mean, if like you buy games like me and like to have a vast collection, it's like if you don't want to play either one of those that day, you can just hop on a different game, play one of those. And then, you know, schoolwork and stuff and the editing videos, I was going to need a lot of space. So I was like, might as well. Why not, you know? Might as well do this. And so I went ahead and did the Sapphire 9070, Sapphire Nitro Plus 9070 XT. It looked better. It had the cables hidden. And then, from what I was doing research, it performed at less voltage and stayed cooler, so that was nice. A lot of people don't like the 12-pin connector on the Sapphire Nitro Plus, the 9070 XT. A lot of people say it's burning, but I think the problem is the cable they give you from factory is so stiff that it does not do a 90-degree angle for you to angle it out of the small space it does give you. It does give you a pretty small space to manage to hit a 90-degree angle to get it out to the back of the case. So I went and found a 600-watt Corsair 12-pin GPU connector, because Corsair makes them, and I just bought that, and it's way softer. It has a lot better turn on it. I mean, it turns 90 degrees with ease in a shorter distance. So I went ahead and just did that, and ain't had no issues with it. So I don't really, my GPU is the coolest part of my computer, thank goodness. It stays about the same temp as my SSDs, and my CPU is probably like 20 degrees above my GPU, so my whole setup doesn't really pass like 130 degrees Fahrenheit, which is nice. You know, being an AMD, usually you'd run at least a little hotter than that, but with the build I have, it doesn't really get that hot, so that's nice. And then like the reason why I ended up going with an AS Rock motherboard. It's because like my first motherboard I had was an AS Rock. I didn't have no issues with it. And I see a lot of people have issues with it and don't like it. But I didn't really have issues with my first one. So I was like, I'll just get another one and see how it is. And I got real used to how its BIOS was set up on it, because I've helped a friend do work with his Gigabyte, and his BIOS was all wonky compared to mine, which is unusual. I mean, you figure the BIOS would be the same, but no, they're definitely not. So I was like, I'm just gonna go with, you know, an AS Rock, so that way I'm still familiar with BIOS and don't have to relearn BIOS, because I'd already started learning it really good on the AS Rock. And so I went and bought a B850 Steel Legend, immediately updated BIOS as soon as I got it, because they were having issues with burning up CPUs, but they had released that new update that helped with that. So I immediately and it was X3D CPUs too on top of that, which was buns, because I had just bought an X3D. So I immediately updated BIOS, and I go on there once a week to check to see if there's a new BIOS update, because I'm just gonna download that and update that, call it good. It's not really hard to do at all, honestly, and get that knocked out of the way. But that's like the main reason why I wanted to build a PC, is just because it made more sense for me, and it was cheaper technically. I mean, to get the performance out of my PC, out of a laptop, I'd have to spend well over $5 grand, and I probably spent $3, and that's like a maybe. I maybe spent $3 grand, and that's only because I bought more expensive stuff. Like Corsair fans, I will say, are ridiculously expensive. Ridiculously. There's no, I mean, I guess the cost would be to keep up with their app, and that may be why their app runs so well. As if you think Razer does sell laptops and stuff, and like their apps, I want to say honestly not as good as Corsair's, but it's really close. Razer's is. And Razer sells laptops and all kinds of stuff like that, and Corsair, you know, only, I mean, they do like furniture and, well, gaming furniture and stuff like that, and then like monitors, but it's mainly PC components that they do, which are smaller and are going to be cheaper. So I guess having a higher price on the fans makes sense to help pay for the like the updates and software changes to the IQ app that they have, which would make sense, because it is a really, really good app. Like, by far my favorite app for like connecting stuff. Like, I've got stuff that's not even Corsair hooked up to a Corsair Commander, and I can control it all through the app, which is nice. And they have made some pretty cool stuff for IQ Link throughout time, and if you're lucky you can get a hold of it on eBay, which is mainly what I do. I just find stuff on eBay and go ahead and pick it up, which is nice. But that's what I do with that. And then, well, I'll go to like, so far, like, since I built the PC, I would say I absolutely enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it to anybody who's like on the edge of building a PC. Just go ahead, and I would just say just go ahead and build one. You'll definitely enjoy it. I mean, you get to build it the way you want it to be. Just make sure you do research on stuff, and don't buy stuff that might burn the computer down, because that's gonna suck bad. And so, like, I went ahead and just did all my research and stuff before I started buying stuff for the second build. I will say the first build I kind of just threw together. I mean, it was my first build. I was just trying to get a cheap PC. I want to say I spent like $1,700 to get that one built. That one, I mean, my GPU would be hitting 100% load as soon as I hopped on Fortnite. My CPU would be at like 80, 70% load. Now my CPU is at usually like 40 to 50% load, and my GPU's at like 20 to 30% load. My GPU doesn't really get a heavy load off Fortnite anymore. I got that new one. But yeah, it just made more sense to go with a PC. So I definitely recommend anybody who's on the edge just go ahead and get a PC. You know, why not? You'll definitely enjoy it. You get to build it the way you want. You know, make it your PC. Feel proud of build after you built it, because it's not as hard as people make it seem. You just make sure the pins on the CPU and RAM are lined up, and then the plugs are facing the right way and going into the right, you know, plug, and you'll have no problems at all. I mean, the hardest problem is really getting like Windows onto the PC itself. That's probably the hardest problem in my opinion. And then learning how to go through like BIOS and update BIOS. A lot of people are scared to update BIOS because they don't know what's going to happen. Because I guess there are a lot of people out there that have problems with BIOS, but I didn't have no problem at all. But I also followed the instructions to the T, so yeah, I'm guessing if you do that, you probably won't have a problem. But I'm about to get off here, guys. About to be at school, so go ahead and get that stuff handled and then head to the house.